I've dropped the ball, and I hate the fact that I am like 1 year later saying the same thing I said at this time last year. Today is Monday, June 14th, and today, June 14th, is the first day this month where I am actually on track for the month. I got sick. I have been super sick. Today is the 10th day now that I've been sick in a row. We had our kids home all week last week because they had the same cold. It's this horrible head cold, chest cold that they brought home from preschool, and now we have at home. My husband, amongst all of this, mind you, we have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old running around. He has been doing interior remodeling of our entire living space. So stripped the walls, removed all the furniture. We have had to put up new drywall. We've been spackling, we've been sanding and spackling, painting, getting the ceiling prepared for new ceiling tiles, getting the floor now prepared for new flooring to go in. We're doing all new decor. Just the whole interior has been so ugly and needed so much help and finishing. So we're finally doing it. But then on top of all that, he's managing that whole process. I'm super sick. I also have the kids, and I have been completely maxed out with farm work, just trying to get the weeds under control, trying to get the first layer of mulching over everything, literally nursing all of our seedlings because they're so delicate, and the manure and the compost we laid this year was full of weed seeds. So it's just been a lot of trying to stay on top of those weeds so they don't overtake our seedlings, make sure the roots don't get damaged. It's been work, and I've been so sick while doing it. So once again, these past 2 weeks, especially the past week, I have not been tracking macros at all. I've just been doing the intuitive things, sticking to my approved foods, listening to my body, and just knowing portion sizes, focusing on protein, and just hoping that I'm maintaining a deficit. And if I am, that it's an effective one. And my hydration has gone out the door. It was getting pretty bad by the end of May. My goal is to drink 3 liters of water a day. By the end of May, I was kind of only getting 2. But then once June started, it's been I'm lucky if I get 1 liter of water in. And of course I'm sick, which is the time I should have been drinking. Anyway, that is just a little mid-month update that today, and I have not lifted since today was my first day in 10 days that I've lifted. So do the math. But today was my first day that I got a full workout in the gym. I have had a proper breakfast. I've got my first liter of water in. I'm about to drink my second liter. I'm back in a flow. I mean, it's only been 11 hours, but, yeah, I feel good. I don't know where I'm at with weight. I have not weighed myself. I don't know. I feel good. So I think I'm making progress, or at least I don't think I'm going backward, but I've got 2 weeks now to get my shit together so that in this next clip that you guys see once we're at the end of the month, I have something to show for myself, because just being full disclosure right now, full transparency, it has not been a good previous first half of June for me. So welcome to Tuesday, January 22nd. We are closing in on June month end. I am doing back and chest today, just taking a break between sets, and wanted to pop on and say that this whole entire month has been one giant diet break for me. Yeah, and I want to hold myself accountable to that, because I happened to rewatch the documentary I made at the end of last year, and I had said a bunch of times throughout the year, this time last year, that I just didn't have time to track my macros. And then I learned at the end of the year, when I was in my first official cut, that I did have time to do it. It was just a matter of doing it. And I've been spending a lot of time thinking about it, because honestly, I get up at 6:30 in the morning with my kids right now.
get them ready. My husband sends them to school. I come here to the gym, and then I work an 8-hour day. Then I go pick up my kids. We have dinner, we bathe, we brush, we clean the house, we get the laundry going, we clean the kitchen, we do all those like tasks that need to be done on a daily basis. And then they go to bed around 7:30, and then mostly me, I go out to the farm and I work from 7:30 until midnight because the sun doesn't set right now. And we have a ton of work to get done. So those are my days. I'm getting like 6.5-ish hours of sleep every night, and I'm working 2 full-time jobs plus being a mom. There is not much wiggle room to track, but I still have to go into the house and prepare food for myself. So preparing food and just sticking it on a plate and weighing it real quick, and then even if I just write the weights down on a piece of paper and input them into my FitnessPal when I have a free moment, like when I'm going to the bathroom or something, throughout the day, that doesn't take any time. So me saying I don't have time is an excuse, because I do have the time. It's really not that difficult. You're already going to be in the kitchen putting food together. The hard thing is eating foods that are not easy to track. Like for instance, I home make all of our bread. And so yes, I could import the recipe, but I just don't, like I need to. That takes a little bit of time because I wing it. I wing my recipes. So I got to actually write it down, put it into my FitnessPal as a recipe, figure out how many approximate servings there are. That takes time. So usually when I'm on a cut, I should only be eating like my cut approved foods, which are essentially very minimalistic, easy, simple, whole food, single ingredient items, because then it's easy. It's easy to put them into my FitnessPal. And I'm not doing that because I do have a lot of fuel requirements right now. And you can only just eat so many goddamn chickpeas in a day, Like, I can only eat so much ground chicken and chickpeas and broccoli. I need a little bit of variety when I'm having to eat a lot to meet my caloric demands, even if I'm eating in a deficit. I'm burning like 2,500 calories a day, so it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, and it's June 22nd, and I have not really, I don't think I've tracked a single whole day this month. And so I'm here to record a clip for this video and just say that I want to hold myself accountable. I want to track my intake. Today I'm going to track my intake, even if it means having to eat boring ass foods, because they're easy to track. Because tracking is going to be the only way that I make sure that I'm doing this right. The tricky thing is that because I'm burning more calories, I think, than usual, I don't really know what my deficit calories should be right now. And the only way to know is to eat and to track and to monitor my weight. And if I'm losing weight at a reasonable pace, then I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. This data is so important. And I hate that I've wasted 22 days essentially being lazy and making an excuse saying I'm too busy, because I'm not. I'm just being lazy. And I'm not wanting to stick to my diet foods. I just wanted a little more variety, which is fine. I can have that variety if I'm willing to put the time into tracking it. I celebrate 18 months on a fitness journey in 8 days, and this is still a thing. It gets a lot easier over time, but the struggles don't go. The struggles, they're always going to be there. There's always going to be some form of struggle. There's always going to be something. It's always going to be hard. It gets easier, but it's always going to be hard, right? It just becomes a lot more exciting and a lot more manageable when you get into a routine. But I've dropped the ball, and I hate the fact that I am 1 year later saying the same thing I said at this time last year. But at the same time, I also find it a little validating, because maybe at this time last year when I was going through the same things I am now, being super busy on the farm and everything. Maybe it really was just more difficult at this time of year last year than it was at the end. Anyway, that's my accountability clip. Hopefully I come back in 8 days and have a good report that I was able to track consistently, because I need to. So I am here to say I'm going to do the work, and I'm going to prove it, hopefully. It's June month end. Yay, we made it. It is June 30th today, and that means tomorrow, July 1st, I am celebrating my 1.5 year anniversary since starting this fitness journey I've been on. So I have talked ad nauseum about how difficult and busy this month has been. I have talked about the struggles of trying to manage the rigors of diet when it feels like you don't have enough time. So first of all, as I sum up my month, I'm going to show some progress pictures here. These are going to be progress pictures for the beginning of my cut to where I am right now. They're going to be progress pictures of where I started on January 1st, 2020 and where I am now. And then I'm going to show some highlight pictures that I have gone through my camera roll and made this month to celebrate and kind of be a fangirl of myself, and to, just really celebrate all the hard work. Because to be honest, the progress pictures that I'm putting up here, yes, they're progress pictures. They're not before and afters. I was a human even before my befores. There's been 36 years of before that before. And there's going to hopefully be many years of afters with my afters. It's just progress from when I started to where I currently am. Yes, I see tremendous change, but for me, what I see, honestly, is the scraped knees and broken fingers of dragging myself through this journey. For anyone who has even bothered following me and watching my chatty, overly talkative videos on this YouTube channel since I started my fitness journey, you will know it's not a fast process. It is slow and it is struggles. It just is. And life gets in the way and things get difficult in different ways. Challenges present themselves, and if you want to stay on track, you gotta find a way to make it work. And that means not being perfect. It means falling off the wagon and realizing, oh shit, I'm falling off of a cliff. And you catch yourself before you go off the deep end, okay? And you say, this is not going the way, I know this is not going the way it's supposed to be going. I gotta find a way to change, to kind of pull myself back out of the hole. That is what this is. I'm learning that anyone's progress pictures, this has nothing to do with me, okay? This is just math, okay? This is a lot of Googling and taking all of the research that other people have done and reviewed and clinically trialed and anecdotal stuff that other people have done to themselves first. I just took all of their information that they decided to share and I applied it to me. Anyone can do this, okay? But the real difficult part is that even though you're making progress, and after only 18 months being able to make such a dramatic change, every step of the way is just trying to keep yourself out of the hole. There are phases, of course, where you've got crazy momentum and everything's working and it's amazing and fantastic. But the majority of the time you're teetering on the edge and you're sort of falling off because you never can get comfortable. That goes with your routine, with your diet, with exercise. The second you get comfortable, that's when you know you're doing it wrong, okay? That's when you realize it's time to make it harder. It's time to increase the weight.
or it's time to increase my reps. Or it might mean, uh-oh, I'm starting to get a little lax on my diet. I'm starting to give myself, like, I acknowledge life is busy and life is difficult. I also acknowledge if I want to, like, reach a goal, I need to do hard things. And there's a balance between the two. Sometimes it's modifying your goal, and sometimes it's modifying what you're doing. And sometimes there's actually ways that you can adjust your personal life, you know, like maybe, for instance, I've talked a lot about farm work. I could have let the farm go a little bit, you know, like I'm a little OCD type A perfectionist. I don't want there to be a single goddamn weed in my garden, but I could have let it slide, you know. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is it's not a linear, like straight to the top results. It's gonna look like this. The important thing is that when you find yourself on a down, you gotta nip it in the bud and find a way to get yourself somewhere back on the general trend line. I took my measurements earlier today, and unfortunately I had to trash the whole video because the audio on my phone, which is what I do all my filming on, is bust. Like my phone needs some serious maintenance. So I had to throw that all away. So now I'm going to put up a screenshot of my measurements here, and the numbers in the parentheses are the centimeter change from the end of this month to the end of last month. So I am 2 months into my cut, and I have 2 months left to go. So I'm halfway through. And these parenthesis results are just my change from last month, not from the beginning. I'll do the beginning to end comparison when I'm done with this cut. I have to say, I'm a little surprised, and I'm very grateful because I ate intuitively 75% of this month. 75% of this month, I really didn't track a single goddamn day. All I did was eyeball my portions and take everything I know about portion control, diet composition, like how much protein in each meal should I be eating, how much carbs, you know. I took all that information that I already know from tracking for like 9 months now and eyeballed things. I also took information that I know from my own body because of tracking for so long. I now know how I feel when I'm low on carbs, when I'm too high on carbs. I know how I feel when I'm too low on fat. I know how I feel when I've eaten too much, when I need protein. You know, like, I know now, because of tracking, how my body feels, and I pretty much had an experimental month of applying all of that, like, general knowledge that you learn when you are on a fitness journey and you stick with it. And I applied it to my diets, and like I said, I just hope that I was able to determine on a daily basis, based on all of the crazy variables of energy output for whatever activity we had going on at home, how I should be feeling, what I should be eating, and then like trying to guess this is approximately how shitty I should be feeling for being in a 500 calorie deficit. Like, what I'm trying to say is, yes, you really need, like, if you've got goals, you need to stay on top of tracking. It's very easy to get off track. But if you have months where everything feels totally wild and chaotic, if you've spent the time to get to know your body, you are able to gently modify and still work towards your goals sort of in a short-term slump. Does that make sense? Like, there's no way I could do this thing in a diet for the next 2 months. Like, I'm back on track with tracking. I'm the type of person who needs to track. Mostly because it's hard in a way. It also makes life easy in a way. I don't like guesswork. But when push comes to shove, if you know yourself well enough, if you've taken the time to track and get to know your body, you can still carry on with your goals during seasons of life that might not be conducive to lots of like meticulous data entry. I don't want this section to be really long. All I am here to say is I am celebrating 1.5 years of pulling myself out of a hole every single day. And even despite all of the pitfalls and all of the entire months, quarters of struggle through COVID, through like seasonal depression, through trying to figure out how to do all these things, trying to cope with life and manage a million things all at once, I have some sick progress to show for it. And like anyone can do this, okay? It's not magic, it's not magical. It just requires you to roll up the sleeves and be willing to cry a little bit and sweat a little bit and bleed a little bit, you know? And also to say that I'm very proud. I'm proud of what I have accomplished. And mostly it's not like, oh, I'm proud of how I look. I'm really proud that I haven't been mentally defeated yet. And I also think it's kind of cool that I'm gonna put up my weigh-in. This is my weigh-in as of today. I have not taken my averages, so this may be give or take. This is just a snapshot in time. But for whatever holy reason, my weigh-in this morning was 64.5 kilo. That is where I ended my cut at the end of last year. I weighed in at 64.5 kilo at the end of 2020. Over the course of 17 weeks of reverse dieting, I had put on 2.5 kilo. And so that's 17 weeks, right? And in just 8 weeks of a gentle diet, I've been able to lose that weight, and I still have 2 more months of cutting. So it makes me hopeful that I will be able to stick to the plan. My plan is to hopefully lose 1 kilo per month. That's 2.2 pounds, approximately half a pound a week, give or take. It would be really cool to get down to 62.5 kilo just to see how that looks on my body, you know? But even, here's what I want to end on. Even if I maintain, even if I don't lose a single gram more between now and the end of the month, so long as I continue to just eat healthy, have a protein-focused diet, and continue to lift heavy, and continue to challenge myself and try to add weight or reps to each of my exercises, even if I don't lose any weight, I will have still changed my body, because that's how it works. I may have lost a tiny bit of fat and gained a tiny bit of muscle if I'm just maintaining over the next 2 months. If I had a competition at the end of this cut cycle, things would be a lot different. I would be making this my full-on focus. It would be all I care about. I would be going balls to the walls. But fact of the matter is, I'm going to be on this journey for at least another 1.5 years, God willing, everything going the way it should. After this diet, I'm going to slowly reverse, and then I'm going to maintain until October. And then in October, I'm going to be staging my very first real life bulk. Like I'm, for the first time in my whole life, intentionally going to be eating more and spending the winter gaining weight. So it really doesn't matter how lean I get. It's mostly just a learning experience and wanting to see what I'm capable of, to push past the mental aspect of it and realize it's not scary to get lean and to maybe cut below a body fat percentage that I'm used to. But at the end of the day, I'm going to gain all the weight back and then some. Hopefully, that's the goal. Hopefully I gain all the weight back and then some, because I have a lot of muscle mass to put on. This is mostly just to get my summer body so that I can enjoy like the 2 nice months we have here in Sweden before having to dress like a bear again for 6 months. So I don't think I have anything else to share. This is a long video, I'm so sorry, but I hope maybe it was valuable or encouraging. If you also are on a fitness journey, let me know down below, and I would love to follow you. I'm looking for other people who are just like slothing through this with me at the same time. So anyway, until next month, I will talk to you guys later. Catch me on Instagram at anexpatmommyinsweden. Okay, bye.